Hello and welcome back to your channel. This is Manu and today we are going to create a TBR file for the year 2024 and yes, it's a new year, so we will create the TBR for that. But before that, let me tell you that it is not mandatory to create a target to read any books, but as a reader we are all in a hurry, we're all in a competition that we have to create a resolution and we will have to achieve that target, and it somehow gives us the motivation to keep reading the books so that we can achieve our TBR file. But it is not mandatory in your case. You can always read as many books as you want, it's always up to you. But let me tell you my story. In the year 2022 I made a resolution of reading 50 books per year, and I ended up reading 29 of them, which was very shocking to me. And if there's one thing that really changed my life is the habit of reading books. I don't know if it's the lesson of the books or the habit itself. It has helped me a lot and immensely, and I'm truly grateful for that. So before we start creating the pile, let me tell you one thing, that it doesn't take a lot to be a reader, and you don't have to achieve your targets every time. It's all about the learnings, it's all about the quality that you get, the value that you get from the books. So let's begin and let's start. So I have kept some books, but I haven't counted them. I have just kept those books that I thought that I'll finish at some point in time. I started them, but I never finished them. I actually want to read them, and there's this resolution, and I have added one more thing with this resolution, that I am going to finish whatever I start, even if it's a book. I started so many books that I ended up reading very few, and whenever I look at a book I'm like, I know the half of the story but not the rest of the story. So it's very disappointing sometimes. I am just planning to finish whatever I start, and for that, let's start. So this is the first book. This is Himim of the Tiger Mother by Amy Chua. I got to know about this author from Goodreads. It's kind of exciting, but at the same time a little scary as well, because the author talks about strict parenting, and this book got so much criticism, at the same time so much praises around the world, because when parents are strict we actually think that they're being strict and they are not good with the children, but at the same time they're trying to give us the responsibility. They're trying to make us realize that discipline is important in life. She actually talks about strict parenting in this book. It revolves around the topic of parenting, but worldwide it was criticized, but at the same time praised by a lot of people. Some people said that it's gonna be helpful for the children because they will learn self-discipline at the young age, but at the same time some people said that it could have some negative impacts on the psychological and emotional behavior of the child. So it's always about opinions. Everyone has their own opinion. So what we have to do, we have to read this book and we have to form our own opinion and narratives about this book. So this is my first book that I'm going to add to my TBR, and I actually loved this book. When I ordered it, I saw the reviews on Goodreads. It was good, and I think when I read it I will be able to relate so much, because there is strict parenting, and I can actually relate to that. I will be able to understand that what is the mentality behind this book, what is the thoughts of the author. So Himim of the Tiger Mother is a story about a mother, two daughters and two dogs. It was supposed to be a story of how Chinese parents are better at raising kids than Western ones, but instead it's about a bitter clash of cultures, a fleeting taste of glory, and how you can be humbled by a 13-year-old. So for the second book, I am very well aware that all of you must have heard about it once in your lifetime, and you know the author as well, because you have seen the author on YouTube and on Instagram, and the author is quite popular and we all love him. So the second book is Think Like a Monk. Jay Shetty, of course, why not? Because the story revolves around the author's experiences about life, about how life should be, and he spent a lot of time as a monk, and he actually realized the purpose of life, and he tried to put all his learnings into this one book. And as a person, I am very much interested in the fact that we are living a life, and it is somehow interconnected with spirituality, with emotional intelligence, with people psychology, philosophy. So I try to read diverse books so that I can understand the author's perspective and I can understand different aspects of life. So this is making wisdom relevant and accessible. So first is how to find your purpose, how to overcome negativity, how to overcome thinking, how to overstop overthinking, how to actually stop overthinking, why comparison kills love, how to use your fear, why you can't find happiness while looking for it, how to learn from everyone you meet, why you are not your thoughts, why kindness is crucial to success. OMG, the last one is too good. Here you go for you guys. So now it's time for the third book. Let's add it into our TBR file. The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari by Robin Sharma, of course. So I remember reading one of the books of Robin Sharma, which was the 5 a.m. Club. I did not quite like the book. I would say it was 3 out of 5. But what I really liked about the book, when you start reading it, you discover such new topics and making yourself uncomfortable, truths of life. And when I read it, I actually woke up at 5 a.m. for like 10 days. And that was a big achievement for me. For a person like me who could never wake up, like I couldn't even imagine waking up at 5 a.m. and I actually did it. Even my parents were shocked. So I chose a second book from Robin Sharma because I actually read this book up to I think 10 to 15 pages, but I did not complete it. So here we go again. This time we are making a resolution to finish whatever we start, right? So this is the book. This inspiring tale provides a step-by-step approach to living with greater courage, balance, abundance, and joy. A wonderfully crafted fable tells extraordinary story of Julian Mantle, a lawyer forced to confront the spiritual crisis of his out-of-balance life. So if you're working at the corporate or you're someone who's looking for the balance in life, this book is perfect for you. Okay, moving on to our next book. So we are going to add our fourth book into the TBR pile. The fourth book for our TBR pile is going to be The Riddle, because this is a sequel. This is the second book of the Palinor series, and I have read the first book. So if you haven't read the first book yet, I would not recommend you to read this book because you won't get anything. This is about a girl, and basically she had a tragic past, but her powers grew with time, and she had a mentor, and she actually, it was about, she was trying to ravage her kingdom. And this book actually talks about light and dark and a lot of stuff that is philosophy, and that is about overcoming your previous experiences, your past experiences, and getting stronger day by day. So basically you will have to read the first book in the Riddle Palinor series, and then you will go for the second book. And I think this book is one of my favorites. You should definitely go for it. Add it to the TBR file. Let's move on to the next book recommendation. This is the book, you guys, the fifth book on our TBR for the year 2024. I know you must be thinking I am the only one who hasn't read it yet, but I have read it so many times. I have read it so many times. And some people believe that it is very boring and repetitive and the stuff is all meaningless, but I would highly recommend you to read it, because in any case I'm the person who believes in self-talk, positive self-talk. I believe in the universe, I believe in everything good, I believe in attracting what I want from my life, I believe in everything happens for a reason. And I think this book, I will pass it on to anyone, because I feel this book has secrets, and this book is my all-time favorite. I can read it anywhere, anytime, and this is very easy to carry as well, short and very few pages, but it has the whole universe in it. I read it every single month because I believe in attracting what I want from my life. I believe that maybe you can have everything in your hand, but if you do not have your thoughts aligned with that, you cannot get it. So The Secret for You Guys by Rhonda Byrne. You should definitely read it. Moving ahead for my 6th book recommendation, and this book is my favorite, and I'm going to still suggest you for adding it to your TBR file of 2024, because this book is my all-time favorite. Think and Grow Rich, just like Rich Dad Poor Dad, but I read Rich Dad Poor Dad like 2 years ago, and before that as well I read it in school as well. But this book is something I think I read during my graduation years, and I'll keep reading it for the rest of my life, because this book has wonderful facts, everything about how to grow rich, and not just about how to grow rich. It won't give you a step-by-step guide, but it will at least make you understand the facts behind it, how people actually got rich. And if you read this book by Napoleon Hill, you will understand that everything is interrelated, it is correlated, and money making secrets, they can change your life. I think you should just underline every single thing that you see in this book, that you're going to read in this book, because after reading the reviews, when I started reading it 2 years ago, I found myself so lost in this book. And when it comes to fiction, I can understand that, but when it comes to non-fiction, I did not expect that I would be so much lost in this book. Just like I was lost in Rich Dad Poor Dad, I was lost in this book as well. Let me give you a brief of this. Think and Grow Rich, based on the author's famed law of success, represents the distilled wisdom of distinguished men of great wealth and achievement. People got rich, they talked about it, and you know what? If you actually talk to those people who are at that level, if you get to know them, if you read about them, you know how to get there at their level. So do not compare yourself, but yeah, you should make the path, you should create the way to reach there. 7th book into our TBR pile for the year 2024, The Alchemist. You must be thinking I haven't read it yet, but I have read it so many times, and I'm going to read it yet again and again and again and again whenever I get a chance, because this book, the story, the protagonist is Santiago, and this is the kind of book that makes you feel alive. This is the kind of book that makes you feel like, what was the author actually thinking while writing this book? What was Paulo Coelho thinking while writing this book? This book is like the magic, is the music we hear, the magic we see, and the words that we hear every time and we learn. This is all about it. It's like, go with the flow and be appreciative of what you have in your life. And when Santiago was following that path, I was so much shocked, and at the same time I was like, what is the author has actually written? I was so shocked till the very end. I was not able to find the answers to my questions. I was just trying to read it, I was just trying to understand it, but the second time I read it, I actually got to know the meaning of this book. It's all about following your own path, creating your own path, and it is about the magic of faith, that if you have faith in something, you will end up finding it. So this book, the treasure that was in the pyramids, is more about the treasure you are looking within yourself. You will find it at the end of the day if you look for it. So The Alchemist for you guys. Add it to your TBR right now if you haven't read it yet. Let's move on to the next book. Let's add our 8th book into the TBR pile. This is called Moon Theory. So guys, this is not a novel, and this is a collection of thoughts that are coming straight from the heart, and it is kind of poetries and thoughts and write-ups, and they are written by Robert M. Drake, R.M. Drake, the very well known. And I have read this book again so many times. This is again repetitive, but I cannot stop thinking about this book, and I cannot stop thinking about the thoughts that are written in this book. So let me just tell you one. I will just read one to you, and you will be convinced that why you should be reading this book and why I love this book so much. So if they want you, they will not lose you, and that is how it works. If someone loves you, they will take the sky if you cannot fly, and if you cannot swim, they will drink the ocean to make sure you do not drown. I am pretty sure I have convinced you to read this book. Moon theory for you guys. I read it every time I feel hopeless, every time I feel down, and whenever I feel like I do not have enough courage to move ahead, I do read this book. So the ninth book that we are going to add to our TBR file is going to be The Night Train at Dune. I am adding this book because I started this book and I read around 20 pages, but I lost track once again because I was reading 4 to 5 books at the same time. I actually finished the rest of them, but I could not finish this one. I know I am so wrong in this case. I shouldn't be doing this, but I did this, and now it's the time to finish it finally, because whatever you read from Ruskin Bond, it's evergreen, it's refreshing, and it's very easy to understand, and it is meaningful. It always has something to teach you about life, and his tales about India and the culture and the people, it's just so refreshing, and it always fascinates me, the writing style. This was published in 1988. It's been a long time, but I'm still going to read this book because I started this book few days ago. I read a few chapters, few pages, wherein the author was at a station and an old lady was helping Ruskin Bond. So this is going to be the book, and I'm going to add it to my TBR, and I'm going to finish it, and I'll let you guys know because I am keeping a track of myself so that I don't lose track. The next book that I am going to recommend you is from one of my favorite authors, and she is not just a favorite, she is an inspiration because she is a self-made person, a woman, and an empowering woman, and her name is Sudha Murthy. Yes, I know you guys already know the name, and she has written 3000 Stitches as well. I will highly recommend this book to you because I have read it. It has her real life experiences, it has so many morals, and it has so many things to learn. You can always learn from her books. So I am going to read the second book from her, which is Gently Falls, the Bakula. I think everything about her book is so, aesthetic. Her covers and everything, they are so beautiful. So this book, I think again it is going to be about her life story. Let's just get to know that. Shrikant was restless, holding a Bakula flower in his palm. He was wondering why he was fascinated by this tiny flower that was neither as beautiful as a rose nor had the fragrance of a jasmine or a champaka, and yet it was very special to him. It held an inexplicable attraction for him. So this book, you guys, I will keep a track. I will read it for sure. If I loved 3000 Stitches, I'm going to love this one as well. I know 3000 Stitches is something for the beginners, but we read to actually enhance our wisdom. We do not read to improve our vocabulary all the time. We do not read to improve our mind all the time. Sometimes we read to make our inner self feel better, and that's why I read. And I know when I get busy, I lose track of time, so I depend on such books that I can actually finish, that I can create realistic goals for. So let's add the next book, and this is also from one of the authors I admire, and a few days ago I told her that I loved her book. So let me just tell you about that book. Stay Hungry, Stay Foolish is the name of the book, and it is written by Rashmi Bansal ma'am, and I admire her so much. I even sent her a connection request on LinkedIn. I told her that I read Take Me Home. I got 2 of her books because I actually love her book, and the fact that she completed her post-graduation from IIM Ahmedabad. She is an inspiring lady, an inspiring author, and she talks about how you can complete your post-graduation, your studies from such reputed institutes, and yet you can choose to follow the path of your heart, and you can choose to follow your dreams. She is a wonderful woman, she's a wonderful human, and here we go, her book, Stay Hungry and Stay Foolish. And yeah, for the fact that she accepted my connection request, I'm gonna tell her that I wrote about her books and I am actually making a video for her book. So stay hungry, stay foolish is the story of 25 such IIM Ahmedabad graduates who chose the rough road of entrepreneurship, the thing I talked about. They are diverse in age and outlook and the industries they made a mark in, but they have one thing in common. They believed in the power of their dreams. This book seeks to inspire young graduates to look beyond placements and salaries to believe in their dreams. I think this book is for me actually, but it's alright, let's go for this. 11th book. I actually am very terrible when it comes to keeping track of the counting. It's okay, even if it's not, you can count for me. 11th book for the TBR pile, you guys. Let's go for the 12th one. I think I'm not going to read more than 12. I am going to set some realistic expectations. After that, if I complete all of them, yeah, definitely I can pick some books, because this year I made a goal of reading more books, around 55 books, because last year I made a goal of 50. I ended up reading very few. I'll let you know about that after this video, but I could not achieve my target. So I am going to set a very realistic expectation for myself, because I also sometimes go for audiobooks, but I do not count them as real life experience of reading books. So Life of Pi for you guys. I love this book so much already, because I have read about it and people have actually so much good to say about this book on Goodreads. Those who would believe that the art of fiction is moribund, let them read. Wow, Pai Patel lives in Pondicherry, where his father owns a zoo. Where he's 16, his parents decide to emigrate to Canada, taking their large family with them. But tragedy strikes when the cargo ship carrying them sinks during a storm. One solitary lifeboat remains bobbing on the wild blue Pacific, and it are 5 survivors: by a hyena, a zebra with a broken leg, a female orang, and a 450-pound Royal Bengal tiger. The scene is set for an extraordinary adventure. Life of Pi for you guys. Basically, this is written by Ian Martel, but this is about Pi. So we're going to read this book for sure, and we're going to write a recommendation and a review on Goodreads as well. 12 books for 12 months, and the year is 2024. Let's see if I can keep track of it, if I can achieve this target or not. I will see you guys in the next video, and I hope you've created your TBR pile. If not, you can create it with me while watching this video. Play some Christmas songs and create your TBR pile, and let's go rock it and finish as many books as you can. Please don't keep them hanging like me. I know you can do better than me, but do read it, okay? I'll see you in the next video, and if you like my videos, don't forget to subscribe and support me, okay? And also share this video with those friends who have never made a TBR pile before, who have never created a TBR list before, and let them know that reading can definitely change your life. Bye, I will see you next time. Merry Christmas.